5亿有2.7亿人出行，可人均消费才500多块。
During the May Day holiday, 270 million people embarked on journeys, yet the average expenditure barely exceeded 500 yuan. What seemed like a nationwide travel extravaganza was, in truth, a thrifty spree for those less fortunate. Why do countless individuals opt for frugality over indulgence? The reasons are evident: a scarcity of security, stagnant income growth, and the necessity to curtail consumption. People who once frequented gyms are now dancing at the local plaza. Former users of miracle water have turned to rice-washed water, and dining out has been replaced by pre-made meals. In summary, over 1 billion people stayed in their cities during the May Day holiday, resulting in a consumption rate that reached only 80% of pre-pandemic levels. On the internet, we can witness various scenes. The Khumbu Glacier on Mount Everest teeming with life on May 1st. Chongqing Happy Valley with its 7 themed areas bursting at the seams with visitors. Traffic snakes towards Gansu, Sichuan en route to a location even more Tibetan than Tibet itself. Hongyadong, a traditional Bayou architectural site in Chongqing known as the City in the Sky, inundated with sightseers. And the free parking area at Shenzhen Bay Park seemingly filled with Zhuhai's shared bicycles whose destination is Lovers Park on the beach. Conversely, customary tourist havens like Sanya in Hainan are experiencing an uncharacteristic cold snap, with vacant beaches and desolate train station seafood markets. In Shandong's Penglai Changdao, an 800 yuan group meal arranged by the tour guide didn't even include a single squid strip, with its actual value estimated to be around 200 yuan. From this, we deduce that traditional tourist destinations with their requisite accommodations and lofty expenses have been replaced by more budget-friendly alternatives. Drive and backpack sites such as glaciers, Tibetan residential areas, and assorted parks are flourishing, catering to those who desire travel without extravagant costs. Turning to data, we find that China's May Day Labor Day holiday spanned 5 days, marking the first peak tourist season since the easing of epidemic prevention and control measures. For context, we look to 2019 and 2018. Domestic app data reveals that the number of outbound tourists has risen compared to 2021, yet flight and hotel bookings amount to a mere 45% of those in 2019. A paltry 18% of people are traveling abroad, indicating that only the most affluent continue to venture overseas. Furthermore, data from the Ministry of Commerce shows that during the May Day holiday, the sales revenue of key retail and catering enterprises across the nation increased by a modest 18% year-on-year compared to the same period last year amidst epidemic lockdowns. This underscores the prevailing trend of economizing and downgrading consumption in the face of an uncertain economic landscape. During the May Day holiday, a noticeable decline in tourists from mainland China to Macau and Hong Kong was observed compared to 2019. In Macau, a mere 130,000 visitors were recorded during the holiday, with actual numbers potentially only in the tens of thousands, constituting a mere 20% of the corresponding period in 2019. Hong Kong, on the other hand, welcomed 450,000 mainland tourists, a figure that represents only 60% of pre-pandemic levels. This reduction in visitors may be attributed to a diminished consumption capacity. Comparing China with developed Western economies and East Asian neighbors, such as Japan and South Korea, where consumption contributes to 70 to 80% and 65 to 75% of GDP respectively, China's consumption accounted for only 54.3% in 2022. Excluding government consumption at 17%, household consumption's share of GDP stands at a mere 37%. Although the Chinese government asserts that there is vast potential for domestic demand, available data suggests otherwise. To achieve consumption potential on par with Western countries, China's economic structure would need to resemble that of the West. Conversely, China has seen a surge in savings data while consumption remains low. According to the People's Bank of China, in the first quarter, RMB deposits increased by 15.39 trillion yuan, a year-on-year increase of 4.54 trillion yuan. Over 60% of new deposits came from household savings, totaling 9.9 trillion yuan. This trend indicates a preference for saving money over consumption. Overdrawn consumption capacity due to expenses related to housing, cars, children, and medical care has left 500 to 600 million people without savings and created 700 to 800 million debtors. A staggering 420 million people face loan default risks, while credit card defaults surpass 200 billion yuan. This lack of economic security prompts the public to save money for the future. Although many anticipate consumption upgrades, China seems to be experiencing a consumption downgrade instead. During Guangzhou's May Day holiday, bustling crowds filled the commercial streets. One would naturally assume that businesses would thrive and shopping malls would be packed with people. As this year marks 3 years since the pandemic, people have been eager to properly enjoy a vacation, which explains the high number of visitors during this period. As such, the current situation is unsurprising. Allow us to delve into the actual circumstances prevailing in shopping centers across the nation. While streets teem with activity, the commerce within clothing and shoe stores located in the shopping malls appear rather lackluster. Astonishingly, a well-known supermarket was virtually devoid of patrons. Recalling May Day holidays of yesteryear, a ceaseless stream of shoppers would flood the supermarkets. In contemporary times, however, people overwhelmingly favor online shopping and rarely opt for bricks-and-mortar stores when digital alternatives suffice. On the other hand, al fresco dining areas experience brisk business, as diners continue to relish freshly prepared fare that cannot be replicated through online purchases. As for tourist sites, they are besieged by throngs of visitors, accompanied by exorbitant prices and subpar experiences. According to official statistics, a staggering 270 million trips were undertaken, equating to a figure approaching 80% of the US population. Hotel rates have soared, with rooms reportedly booked solid a month in advance, leaving last-minute travelers unable to secure accommodations. Train tickets and airfares have followed suit. In some instances, entry fees to attractions have increased while workers' wages have stagnated, leading to strikes and an absence of transportation for holidaymakers. During the past 3 years of pandemic containment, China's hotel industry has witnessed a reduction of tens of thousands of establishments. In previous May Day holiday seasons, an abundance of hotel resources ensured no overcrowding occurred. Presently, with a contracted hotel market, this year's May Day holiday has transitioned into a seller's market, marked by astonishingly high room rates. So, who are the present-day travelers? Predominantly, they are individuals born in the 1960s and 2000s, as well as those from the 1970s employed within state institutions. The first two demographics possess both financial means and leisure time. Those born in the 60s are nearing retirement or are already retired, benefiting from relatively generous pension schemes, while the parents of those born in the 2000s hail from the 70s, representing the mainstay of various societal sectors, ensuring consumption is not an immediate concern for their offspring. Similarly, consumption poses no issue for those born in the 70s working within state institutions. How then do the remaining 80% of China's population spend their May Day holidays? One netizen, while shopping, encountered numerous old acquaintances who revealed they had abstained from traveling this year. Reasons cited included challenges in securing employment, meager wages, and an inability to indulge in consumerism. Moreover, after their brief respite filled with revelry, they were compelled to return to their daily grind, weary and devoid of time for recuperation. The 5-day vacation was facilitated through taking leave, rendering rest on weekends before and after the holiday impossible. Many felt that staying at home with family, enjoying a well-deserved rest, far surpassed the appeal of traveling. Engaging in domestic chores, tending to agricultural tasks, or preparing a sumptuous meal to enjoy with family perhaps holds greater significance during the May Day holiday. This May Day holiday has illuminated the striking dichotomy in contemporary Chinese society where two disparate lifestyles emerge. On one hand, affluent individuals with leisure time to spare embark on journeys to explore picturesque landscapes and indulge in luxurious experiences. Conversely, the majority of the population opts for a more modest yet equally fulfilling staycation, revealing the contrast in economic standings and ways of living. The surge in May Day tourism does not necessarily signify an economic resurgence, nor does it imply a newfound wealth among the general populace. Rather, it epitomizes people's collective attempt to seize their limited free time, injecting a touch of vibrancy into their otherwise monotonous lives. A cursory examination of the capital market corroborates this notion. Companies that have thrived in recent years, such as Luckin Coffee, Xi Cha, and Hei Tea, owe their success to their appeal to the mass market's demand for affordable options. Pinduoduo, with net profits doubling those of JD.com, and domestic sportswear brands like Anta and Hongxing Arke have experienced tremendous growth, primarily due to their competitive pricing. These myriad changes suggest that the very foundation of China's consumer market is undergoing metamorphosis. To accurately gauge the economy and consumption patterns through tourism data, one must consider the broader picture by looking at annual figures rather than focusing solely on a brief 5-day holiday. Additionally, it is crucial to assess whether the number of outbound tourists has risen, as overseas travel typically incurs higher expenses. Momo CEO Tang Yan has noted that in the face of the current economic downturn, people's consumption habits are shifting toward more budget-friendly alternatives. Destinations once frequented during the May Day holiday, such as Iceland, Greenland, Antarctica, and Africa, have been replaced by more economical options like Japan, South Korea, or even domestic camping trips. As a result, the paradisiacal escapes of Bali have been replaced by the more humble regions of Jiangsu, Zhejiang, and Shanghai.